Yo, what's up guys? Climsy here. Today I will be teaching everybody switching from controller, or even people who just want to get better at keyboard and mouse, everything you need to know about how to master keyboard and mouse on Fortnite. So this video is going to be divided into 6 sections. I'll list them on the screen right now, and we're just going to start going on the first section. So let's get it. Alright guys, so hand positioning. The first thing you're gonna want to do when you pick up a keyboard for the first time is a lot of people like to get in this habit, and it's because of if you're in school or in a typing class or something. This is actually wrong for gaming, but a lot of people put their index or their ring finger on W. W is always the key that you use to move forward in Fortnite, and it's always best to put your middle finger on W, your ring finger on A, your index on D, and if you want to move backwards, you can just shift your middle finger up and down the keyboard. This opens up a lot more options for pressing keys, especially if your hands, get nimble and are used to pressing all the keys fast and quickly. But just start with putting your middle finger on W, and this is just the basic hand positioning. And we're going to kind of get into a lot more about positioning and stuff in the next section with keyboard tilt, but that's it for section 1. Alright guys, so section 2, keyboard tilt. So a lot of people, and I've seen this a lot in Fortnite, they tilt their keyboard like this. I would not recommend ever angling your keyboard 90 degrees. It's really bad for your posture, and it makes the keys really hard to press. There are some keys that are easier to press on that angle, but a lot of different people hold them different ways. My best recommendation for you is do whatever is most comfortable for you, and really try. I used to hold my keyboard like this, and this was fine. It felt comfortable, but my wrist started hurting after a while, so I angled it back. I mainly have my keyboard just straight up, just across my desk like that. So I would just recommend starting out here and then starting to tilt it little by little, figuring out what angle works best for you. But like I said, I would not recommend doing this, because then you have to angle your arm like over this and lean. You have to lean over the keyboard, and it's really bad for your posture, and it's just not worth the benefits. I would say that the cons outweigh the pros on that. So yeah. Alright guys, so the next section we're going to be covering optimal keybinds, and this is just going to be a little keybind guide. I might do an entire video for this, because this is really a big thing. Fortnite's a really big game where keybinds matter quite a bit, so don't be worried if I don't cover something. You can always feel free to ask in the comments below, and I will be more than willing to answer y'all's questions that you may have. But we're just going to cover a few things, and yeah, let's get into it. Alright guys, so the keybinds you're seeing on screen are my keybinds, and they are pretty optimal on like a scale of 1 to 10. They're probably like an 8 on optimal. They're not perfect, but they are pretty optimal, so I would copy. You can copy them, use them as you want. If you want to make any changes, you can. I would just recommend that any keybind you do, make sure the mouse buttons are being used on wall and stairs, so your movement isn't interfered with when you're strafing left and right, or when you're placing a wall, so or even a ramp. So that's kind of the general idea about keybinds, is to make sure you're not interfering with any of your movement by taking your fingers off of them. So just remember that, guys, and if you have, like I said, if you have any questions, just ask them in the comments below, and I will be more than happy to answer them. This is how you set up scroll wheel reset on keyboard and mouse for the first time. So what you're going to want to do is go into your bind menu. You're going to scroll down to where you find your building edit and your reset building edit section, and these 2 boxes should be blank. And what you do with the 2 boxes is you click on it, and then you bind it to your scroll wheel, and then you do the same exact bind as you did here, and you scroll down on that as well. You can use scroll wheel up or down. I prefer down. I would recommend down, but That's just the way I did it. I've seen people use it up as well. But this is just how you set up scroll wheel reset, and then it should automatically reset your buildings. So yeah, that's scroll wheel reset. All right, guys. So just have a few other tips for keybinds. Just make sure when you decide to rebind stuff, make sure you have your keybinds close to your fingers so you're not reaching too far. I would avoid keys that are further than 3 keys away from your finger. And just because your favorite pro uses a certain set of keybinds doesn't mean you have to copy them. I would find what works for you and find what's best and most comfortable for you. And yeah, that's about it for keybinds. All right, boys. Here is the section that makes or breaks you if you're learning the keys. A lot of people have a hard time practicing. Practice makes perfect. Well, better, not perfect, but practice is what makes or breaks you, and you really have to be dedicated to practicing even when it gets hard. That's the biggest problem about learning keyboard and mouse, is it's a brand new platform for a lot of people and they have never picked it up before in their life. So I would practice learning your movement, learning WASD, just practicing all that in creative mode, and just don't give up, because it gets better after a while. You know, it's gonna start out hard, it's gonna be difficult, but it is worth the switch. It is definitely worth the change. So a few tips I have for people changing at first, trying to train their new muscle memory habits. 1, don't look down at the keys. That is one of the hardest habits to break, especially when you're starting out. You don't know where anything is on the keyboard. And I think it's okay to look down at the keys, maybe for the first few days, but really try to break that habit of looking down at your keyboard to try to find what key you need to press, because then you become reliant on your eyesight and where you see the key, rather than being able to just do it on the fly and be used to or ready for whatever key you need to press whenever the time arises. All right, guys, so we're in section 5 now. We're going to go over aiming. Aiming is one of the most crucial things in any FPS game you play, so you can take anything from this guide and kind of implement it to any game you play, really. So I'm going to go over a few basic things that you might need to do to practice your aim, and some good tips and tricks. So let's get into it. All right, guys, so aiming. Obviously, you're going to need a mouse, and I would recommend you have a decent desk space. My desk space is personally like about this big. It's not too big, but you can drag your mouse. This is the space I work with usually. And let's go over real quickly just desk space. This is a large mouse pad from Zowie. It's called the GSR SE. This is about I would say the best mouse pad you can probably get. It's only like, maybe I would say it's expensive. It's like $30 to $50. It's a decently expensive mouse pad, but if you really want to invest in some good gear, it's a good mouse pad. This is my mouse, the Cooler Master MM710. And yeah, so for gripping the mouse, when you first pick up the mouse, a lot of people have different styles of grip. There's claw, there's palm, where you fully grasp the mouse with your palm. I prefer kind of my own little grip. It's a little clawed on my 2 fingers that pull the triggers, but other than that, it's pretty much a palm grip. And then you've got fingertip grip, where you hold the mouse like this. This is a great grip for aiming. It has more control, but it makes the side buttons a little harder to press. So and also, I just want to point out, there are some mistakes that a lot of people make when they're first gripping the mouse. There's the 3-finger mistake. I would never, ever, ever grip a finger like that, or grip a mouse like that, because you have nothing to anchor on. And this is the way Clicks holds his mouse. Either it's this, or he has some 3-finger grip like that. That grip, I don't see as much of a problem with Clicks' grip as I do with the mouse wheel, but you can mess with your mouse wheel all sorts of ways. 3-finger gripping it like that, I would not recommend this for aiming. It makes aiming really inconsistent and much harder to do. So that's about all I can show you with the hand cam on the mouse guide. And then yeah, So other than just the way to grip the mouse, there's also some things you can do to improve your aim. I would recommend practicing good crosshair placement. You can search up a lot of videos on YouTube about crosshair placement and how it works, but crosshair placement is really crucial, especially for hitting shots and good headshots. I would practice aim trainers. Kovacs is good. Kovacs is not necessary to have good aim. I don't Kovacs at all, actually, but Kovacs is a good way to train your aim. There's also aim train maps in Fortnite. And yeah, so another thing I want to cover is EDPI, or your mouse sensitivity. A lot of people, when they switch over to switch over to keyboard and mouse from controller, is they always set their mouse sensitivity way too high in the beginning. My sensitivity is personally 800 DPI and 5% in-game sense. My sense is pretty standard. Might be on the lower scale of sensitivities, but I would recommend anybody starting out, start at a low sensitivity and work your way up. Alright guys, so this is the last and final section. I would recommend getting good peripherals for when you decide to switch to keyboard and mouse. This actually matters a lot more than you think it will, especially since a lot of keyboard and mice or controller players don't have that good of stuff to start playing with. I can leave some Amazon links down below of stuff that I would recommend personally that I think is great for gaming, especially for starters. But yeah guys, so I would recommend getting a basic SteelSeries mouse pad, a Cooler Master MM710, which is actually the mouse I use, and I would recommend getting a Drevo Caliber V2 or a Red Dragon K552. And those are like the basic starter keyboard and mice. And if you want to go further, you can of course buy an And Pro or a Ducky or something like that, but these are the best for starters. Alright guys, but that's pretty much it for the video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and I will just reach out to y'all. And thanks so much for watching guys. Y'all have a great rest of y'all's day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. In the words of Papa Jarian, later.